Hello, how are you? It's Erin. It's been a long time. It's been like a million years. I had a baby and she is 3 months old now. And so trying to kind of get back to normal, whatever that is. And I want to show you my desk reference visual journal / diary. I have videos previously filmed of January and February in review. And so this is like March, April, May, and June. Not all of it is finished. And I kind of, for a while, maybe March, April, some of May, I was like trying to catch up, trying to fill it out so that it would be done. But I decided that was like not, well, it wasn't really a decision. It was just, that was not going to happen. And it was either give it up and just like film this already, or never film this for you because it's never complete. I think because I did a good job of completing January and February, I thought, but whatever. Let's just get into it. So this is a Midori MD one day, one page from 2022. I had already written the dates in up here. And just kind of redated the months. Actually, I didn't even redate all of them. I was stamping them, but then I stopped that. So in my month pages, I was doing like a reading log. Am I in frame? Let's make sure. Okay, so I was doing a reading log and using the colored dots to designate what book I was reading on what days or whatever. And I really enjoy this. Like, I really enjoy it. It's such a fun way to keep track. However, as I get busy, as my life is everything's thrown up in the air, I just couldn't keep up with it. And so I let it go. I just let it go. It's fine. It might come back another time. I doubt I'll go back and backfill. I don't really backfill in that way. So probably it's just done. Let's go to, is there anything else? I don't think there's anything else up here. Okay, so let's go to March, because that's where we left off. That's February. Okay. So here's the beginning of March. And what I do in this journal is I just kind of do whatever I want to do. So sometimes it's about things that have happened, my family, kids, life events. Sometimes it's just keeping track of things that I like. Sometimes I make spreads and write on something. Like, for instance, this page is about the concept of map making as more of a metaphor for kind of figuring things out in life, I guess, or in my creative practice. I love doing swatches. This is one of those pages where I was like, I'm gonna come back and fill this in. And so I don't backfill in the sense that I rarely go back to figure out what had happened and write that in. I do that sometimes for special occasions, things that are big moments in our life, but not for just like everyday stuff, because I don't have the patience for that, but I also don't really care that much about that. I have that information usually. If it's needed, I have it somewhere else. And so, like in a planner. So I'm not gonna do that in here. I'm not gonna backfill. But what I do is I will go back and fill in just with other stuff, just whatever. I just use it as a journal page, like just as a place to do something creative, not as something, not for information from that day, if that makes sense. So I was writing about the Now Page movement, which is just basically having a page on your website that says what you're up to right now, instead of like an about page, like generally about you, but like what about you at this time in your life. And so I've actually made one of those. I just did. So it's erinware.com/now if you're interested. There's not much there, but you're welcome to go look. This little poem by Joseph Fasano for a student who used AI to write a paper. I really love this line here. So it says, "Now I let it fall back in the grasses. I hear you. I know this life is hard now. I know your days are precious on this earth. But what are you trying to be free of? The living, the miraculous task of it. Love is for the ones who love the work." So I don't really agree with the last line. I don't think love is for the ones who love the work. I think love is for everyone. So I don't know what he means by that. But I do really appreciate, I guess, like the middle part of the poem and that line, but what are you trying to be free of? And that is a really good point. Like when you try to make things go faster in your life or be easier. Like this is it. This is life. This is like, let's live it. And I need that reminder. Obviously didn't finish this page, but it has some of my artwork on it, so I like it. This is a lino cut print that I made probably in 2018, 2017. And then this is a printable from Patreon of a little watercolor, like border type thing that I made. And then this is just some regular masking tape. And I wrote on it with ballpoint pen. And I made a little note that this has been one of my favorite things to do since 2004. Because I remember very specifically this old art journal that I had. I remember when it was because I remember where I was living. I only lived with this friend where I made this particular art journal like for a month. And I remember sitting at a little desk in that room making a page. Yeah. It's funny how things come back to you like that. So I don't think there's anything of note on this page other than just stuff. Just pasting in stuff. Here's another poem. Do Not Ask Your Children to Strive by William Martin. This is one of those examples of a page that I was going to go back in and backfill because it was my son's 8th birthday and it was my daughter, like my baby's due date, and Pops came. He's my father-in-law. My husband's dad came to take care of the kids. And here's the day she was born. St. Patrick's Day, the day before. Yeah, so this is just home from the hospital. And then a lot of this whole a lot of this was done like after the fact. So I just go through and I paste things in. Like this page was from a magazine. It's actually a painting. Isn't that crazy? And it's by Cindy Rizza. So I made some notes about sort of my own like online life, which really hasn't happened much at all lately. And yes, Tombow swatches. Oh, this is really good. So I found this on the Archives of American Art from the what, Smithsonian Museum, or from the National Gallery, something like that. I can't remember exactly at the moment. I kind of randomly came across this, and it's from a sculptor to the guy he was working with on a project, I guess. So it's like a telegram of some updates from their project, and it says, Sam, earthworks sounds possible, dirt art, dirty art, bogs, geometric quagmires, square swamps, minimal muck, suspicious, spongy, unsound sod, gray grass, slow quicksand, no rock gardens, no plants, no flowers, plains, heaths, holes, and slight rises, straight and narrow paths or no paths at all, no lanes, bowers, gazebos, nests, hiding places, no hairy, grabbing vines, to tormented trees, not even any plane trees, no bushes, golfers, or ducks, nature at her fatuous, flat-chested best. Yeah, that was from February 1967. So I loved it. There's something about it that just like, I love it. So I had to put that in there. This was also Flannery O'Connor's 100th birthday. No, her birthday was on the 25th, but her party was on the 23rd. I live in Savannah. She was born in Savannah, so. Yeah, so let me finish that statement. So they have a big birthday party for her on the square every year where she lived. And this year it was a really big party because it was her 100th birthday. And my husband and my kids went. I couldn't go because Agnes was like 2 weeks old. But I was like, go and enjoy yourselves. They had a good time. Okay, so this is a poem by Charles Bukowski, and I usually don't like his work. It's very crass and rude and misogynistic. But this poem is great, and I am just going to let you read it because it's long. You can screenshot it or whatever. But it was really good for me to find on this day because I'm an artist who is struggling to find time to create because I have kids. But I think, I don't know, it's hard to create no matter your circumstances. So this is just a page of stuff, pretty stuff. Just, yeah. I like how these pages often just, they happen over time, and I just slowly add stuff, and I'll go back and I'll see what will fit here, and I just keep adding to it. So it probably started with these like labels, and I just kept adding, and I got an order at some point for a Hobonichi, and I just like stuck that stuff in there, and yeah, just add to it. These printable sticker flowers are by Courtney Diaz, and I love them so much. They're so just like sketchy and pretty, and I love them. This page I love. Also came together organically. You would not think that because it's pretty cohesive, but I just added to it over time. This photo my husband took with a camera that we have unearthed here, an old Canon that I've had for a while and just haven't done anything with it. It was a gift from my stepdad before he died, and we finally put a battery in it and some film, and my husband's been trying it out. And he took this picture in my bedroom, and it didn't come out very well. Like, it's not in focus, but I still really love it. I love the photograph. And yeah, and this quote by Robert Rauschenberg is so good. If you don't have trouble paying the rent, you have trouble doing something else. One needs just a certain amount of trouble. Some people need more trouble to operate, and some people need less. Yeah, I am afraid I'm one of the ones who needs more trouble, I think. I got the Neo Art collection when that came out. I have used them and I do really like them. I think, yeah, maybe I'll talk more about those in the future, but I do like those. Yeah, so more pages of just trying to fill things in, clippings from magazines, something I made, Spider-Man. I really like this. I want to finish this with something pretty, but like some writing. But I like how it is right now. This is one of my pieces. And yeah, these are also mine from not that long ago, like this and this. I try to, like, when I make artwork for Patreon, I try to get it in this journal as soon as possible to kind of just note, like, that's what I was working on, that's what I did. And this is one of mine too. And this is from Susanna Bryant. Susie's Tiny Desk, I think. This is also hers. But I just am trying to fill things in as I go with, like, that's my artwork. This is me trying to come up with a system. Oh, it says systems for survival and sustenance, meaning my journals and my planners. And I was trying to think of it as past, present, and future, like what they are for. So like memory keeping is about the past, morning pages about the present, and a planner about the future. So stuff like that. I didn't really finish, but I think I got a good start on that. Okay, so this was cool because I was talking to Nathan about, okay, so negative capability is kind of like the ability to hold, not just like hold two opposing truths in your mind at the same time. There's another word for that I'm blanking on at the moment, but it's like the ability to hold more, and not be so rigid in your brain. And Keats wrote about that to his brothers. Is that right? Keats? Yes, Keats. So I had access to this book when I was in grad school, the actual book. And obviously I'm sure I could buy it somewhere. I don't know why. There was something in my brain that was like, I wish I could go back to that library and read that book again, which I didn't read the whole book. I just read part of it where this is. And I was introduced to this concept by Ian McGilchrist, who wrote The Master and His Emissary, I think is what it's called, about the brain. And anyways, my mind was blown when I heard Ian McGilchrist speak. If you don't know about him, you can just search YouTube. There's some really cool videos, like illustrated videos of some of his teachings. But anyways, I was thinking about this. I'm going to get to the point. I was thinking about this, thinking about that book. I wish I could go back and read it. And then I bought Mary Oliver's A Poetry Handbook, and I was flipping through that and reading through it, and she basically talked about this and wrote that whole section, that whole quote from Keats to his brothers, like that was in the Poetry Handbook. And so I copied it out of there, and I thought, how cool is that? Like, it just came to me. yeah, synchronicity and magic. So that's that. It's just a collection of stuff. Some new gouache colors. A painted bunting that visits my bird feeder and his partner. His she's green. Yeah, green and yellow sort of. I need to paint her too. One of these days, I think it was maybe, I actually think it was May. It was in May. Yeah. Because May 3rd was the 10-year anniversary of my mom's death, and the painted bunting was at the window, and I was at my desk, and I heard this like fluttering and tapping, and he was like tapping on the window. I don't think he meant to. I think he was just, I don't know, he tried to get into the window or something. But his partner, his mate, was at the bird feeder for I hadn't seen her yet, and she was there for the first time this year. And I thought that it was like he was trying to show me, like, look, she's here. I just thought that was, I don't know, special. Just some stuff. I made a kind of a vision board sort of thing on Pinterest and printed that out. This is Easter, a quote from St. Augustine, and we took a day trip on this day to Hilton Head, which was not very exciting, honestly, but you know, you do what you can with little kids. This page is all about, some about Alistair Wallace. He's the artist who painted these. And then I was also writing about a hobby journal in the weeks, which a lot of people have done and a lot of people have talked about. But for some reason, when I saw Hannah from Tiny Life Studios, I started thinking about it. And then I saw Juliet Garza and the workbooks on Substack. She was talking about it, and I think when Julia does something, I'm just like, okay, I'm listening, because I just love everything she does. So I was just writing about it. I'm not doing a hobby journal at the moment because I'm not doing any hobbies right now, really, except for reading, and I do have a reading journal, but I'm not like making things or knitting things other than art. This is another artist, Matt Kleberg, that I was writing about. And wedding anniversary, we took naps. That's all I got down. So now we're in April. Actually, we're towards the end of April. I got a Birmingham pen order, mostly because I wanted this Saltmarsh ink. And I got Ohio River because Ohio River has some personal significance to me. I was born in Lexington, Kentucky, and I lived in Ohio, and there's just more to it. But poetically, I loved the name, and I had to have the ink. It's not my favorite color, but it's pretty. And then this is a magical ink. I love this one. And I live near the marshes. I can walk to a marsh from my house. So this is the lyrics from This Is the First Day of My Life by Bright Eyes, which is probably one of my very favorite songs of all time. Not probably, it is, but it might even be my favorite of all time. But I'm not good at saying things like that. I don't know for sure if that's true, but it feels like it sometimes. And so I just wanted to write the lyrics out. And these chairs are my printables. I can't remember where this came from. It was in an order from somewhere. But that's a good way to fill up a whole spread, is just by writing lyrics. And then here's just some questions for you guys. How do people keep track of short form writing content like blog posts, newsletters, etc.? How do people store artwork? Once I put it in Dropbox, do I still keep it on my hard drive? Just move it to the external hard drive? What do I need to keep? Do I keep original scans? How do I organize it? By date, file type, theme? Wow! That's Yes, I'll say no more. But like, if you're really, really good at storing files, especially for things like artwork or something like that, and you have tips for me, I will take them because I am the worst. Like, my computer is a disaster and I need to fix it, and I don't know how. I don't know how. Yes, so enough about that. This was my mom's the 10-year anniversary of her death, and so I had a kind of a special day with myself. Well, I was not by myself all day, but my husband and big kids went to the Scottish Games in Savannah, and I had a haircut that day, and I got myself some treats, and yeah, it was nice day. Got an order from Baum Cohen. I painted some socks for Patreon, and yeah, we got a new Pope. I had an idea, artwork by somebody I cannot find on Pinterest. My husband's, not my husband, my son's first communion was on this day at the cathedral. And that was Mother's Day. I think I wrote something down about what we did. I really love building things up slowly and just adding stuff. If I want to write something down, like just made a little note that we went to an Inn Market, which is like a fancy gas station, for some frozen yogurt for my daughter that day. Agnes was laughing in her sleep. So this is like 2 months since Agnes was born. May is insane because there are just like events for school every week, if not 2 events. And then we go right into summer vacation. So it's just been not the easiest time to keep up with journaling. I really like this page though, and I started doing what I call sci-fi summer. It's just where I read a bunch of science fiction in the summer. I've done it for a few years, but this year I'm taking it very seriously, and I will be talking about it. Don't worry. I've been reading a lot of short stories, and I've kind of have a I didn't really want to, that's my family. Pictures of my family. Let's skip that page. Did I finish that thought? I was talking about sci-fi summer. I'll talk more about it later. It's just me reading science fiction. That's all. This is part of the speech from Andor, Marva's speech that starts the uprising. I really love Andor season 2. I really love Andor, the whole show. So I recommend it. This I haven't finished, but I actually was, I have a lot of thoughts, things are happening. And so I made a spread about creatively things I'm saying goodbye to and things I'm saying hello to. And I wrote, I'm ready to move away from the dreams that I made when I was too afraid to go after what I really wanted. Because I have been chasing after some things for a few years now that I convinced myself that I wanted, and I realized recently that I don't want those things. And so I'm celebrating. I'm celebrating that I'm figuring myself out. Another Patreon printable with mushrooms, friend or foe. Just some stuff. Oh, somebody left me a comment. I didn't go back and see who it was. If it was you, thank you very much. I haven't looked these up yet, but I'm going to. And they suggested that I look up these artists who are Swedish artists, and I will. That's why I wrote it down, so I would remember. I've been really bad about getting back to YouTube comments, and I'm going to be working on that. So if you haven't heard from me, I'm sorry, and I will try to get back to you. Yeah. I finished I Who Have Never Known Men and wrote a couple quotes down. I really enjoyed that book. Really, really liked it. I watched The Last of Us, season 1. I got stuck in season 2. I haven't finished it, and I'm not sure I'm going to. I kind of lost interest. After a certain something happens, I was just like, well, I don't know. It changed tone or something, but I really, really liked season 1 a lot. This is me like just playing around with some, I was looking at an artist's color palette, and these have in some ways like similar feelings to them, very different, but I was just looking at that. What I was currently reading, and then I wrote this, me looking for ways to pare down to using only 1 or 2 notebooks. Also me setting up yet another notebook, because that's, yes, that's always what's happening here. I long for simplicity, and yet I just keep on making notebook setups like all the time. And is that as far as I've gotten? I think that might be it. Yeah, these are from previous years. So that's it. That is what's happening in this little notebook. I don't know if I've said, I mentioned this painting in one of my previous videos, and I couldn't remember where I got it from, and I couldn't remember who the artist was, and some people pointed me to Edward Hopper, and I'm grateful to you. Thank you for that. It's Rooms by the Sea by Edward Hopper. I am more familiar with his works that I think they're like people sitting at like a diner. Is that right? Or like the similar, like in interior spaces. This is too, but it doesn't have people in it. It has a different feeling, but it is so beautiful, and I'm glad to know where that came from. So thank you for that. YouTube comments, like the comments that I get are typically really, really kind and really like helpful, and I am just so appreciative of you all. I rarely get a nasty comment. I rarely get people just being rude. And that's really nice. Thank you for that. I don't think there's anything else. I probably should wrap this up. So thank you for being here. Let me know if you have any questions, and I'll be back as soon as I can with another video. I think the next thing I'll be sharing is my Tejo Kaigi, or journaling and planning ecosystem, my notebook ecosystem, as you will, as the kids are calling it these days. And I think that that's a very good title for them. I think that's a good, yeah. What's the opposite of misnomer? Nomer? I'm sorry. Okay. I'm gonna go. I'll talk to you soon. I hope you're well. Bye.